Hello, everyone. Welcome to this review. This review is for Life After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 16, Lost and Found. Okay, so as we see, this is my first time reviewing the show, but I've been watching the show for all the seasons that it's been on. And this particular season is pretty jam packed. It's like the supersized season with a lot of couples. I'm just like, y'all was just really trying to fit everybody in. Anywho, starts off with Marcelino and Brittany. The producers are pretty much like chasing down Marcelino in a sense. They see him at a gas station, so they run down on him like, "Yo, what's good? Like, what's happening? Why haven't you been returning Brittany's phone calls?" So he was just stating how stressed he's been, or how stressful it has been for him, with just dealing with, just kind of being a stay-at-home dad, taking care of the kids, and she's been extremely busy with work, and she has not really been like giving, or yeah, giving him the time that he's looking for from her. So this has been really like making him feel, kind of sad, or very sad actually. And so he went off to clear his head, and he said that he went to play some poker because they were under the impression that he was possibly out there doing some dirt. Like, but he said, no, that's not the case. I was just out playing poker, trying to get my mind right. And so we see Brittany still at the tattoo shop, and she's looking at the fresh tattoo that she just got, that her friend offered to do for her, after the shenanigans that went on in the last episode. And so we see the producers now at Brittany and Marcelino's house, and Marcelino opens the door, and he's just like, well, she didn't come home last night. And they ask him where she is, and he was just like, I don't know where she is. And he just was team over it, like, you know what, she is where she is. I'm home with the kids. She didn't even check to see how the kids were, so he was just like, just heated, um, which is totally understandable. So then we see Brittany at the hotel room, and she's there with her friend Shannon, who is the owner of the tattoo shop, who she was chilling with. It was her, Shannon, and Amanda chilling at the tattoo shop before, the night before, or whatever. And she was like pouring her feelings out to them, like, because she was thinking that Marcelino has been cheating and stuff like that. So Shannon gets back into bed with Brittany, and she's there like, you know, oh, did you see Amanda's phone when she showed you the text or the message that Marcelino sent her? Did you see all the other text that was below that? Because it seems like you just saw like a little piece of it. There was like much more to it. So Brittany was like, no, I didn't see that. So she calls Amanda and asks Amanda to send her pretty much the message thread between Amanda and Marcelino. So Amanda sends it to her, and she gets pissed off because Marcelino sent Amanda a D pic. So she was just, Brittany was like wondering, why did Amanda hold on to this information and not let me know anything? So she calls Amanda, and she was like, well, did y'all ever meet up? And she said, yeah, we met up once, and it was to set up something for Brittany's birthday party. And Brittany was like super pissed off. And so she was saying that she needs to see Amanda like face to face to have that conversation. So she calls Marcelino, and she tells him to leave the house because she's going to be at the house soon, and she wants to see the kids, but she didn't want to see him at that particular time. So he was basically like, what's all of that? Like, why you pissed off? Like, all like that. And she mentioned the pic that he sent to Amanda, and then he instantly gets pissed off, like saying that, oh, you're tripping on me because of Amanda and all this stuff. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. Like this is team too much for me. Like, nope, I cannot, I cannot, nope. But so yeah, they argue about that. Then they show Brittany driving to the house, and she's emotional, and she gets to the house, and excuse me, she's crying and stuff like that. And that was pretty much it with that scene. Then we get to excuse me, Deontay and Lindsay, and it's time for Deontay to head back home. He has to get back to work. You know, time to make the donuts. So they're talking about how they enjoy their time together and discussing when Deontay will have time to visit her again. He also mentioned that he has not told his mother that she's out as yet, and the possibility of him moving to Mississippi. And his mom is not going to be having that. Like, and so I can understand why he's scared to tell her. Like, she don't play. And okay, Deontay, good luck, bro. But so he leaves. Well, he drops her off at Blaine's house, and then he pulls off, and Blaine has a crush on her, which we already figured that out. And he's like asking all these questions about how things were with the time that she spent with Deontay. And they were talking about what she'll be possibly doing for work. So he said, you could get a job where I work, and he works in construction. So she was not really feeling that possibility for a job. But we'll see. But he was just talking that Blaine was just like talking that mess, like, hey, I'm not a homewrecker, but blah blah blah. I'm just like, okay, Blaine, we'll see. We'll just see. I'm just like not even gonna try to predict anything or think too much into it. We'll see as time goes on with the season. Then they show Kevin and Tiffany, like real talk, like some of these couples, like why are they on the show? Like I some of these couples I honestly kind of zone out, and I have to rewind to pay attention, like because they're not grabbing my attention. But basically, with Kevin and Tiffany, it was just not much going on with them in this particular episode. So Tiffany gets well shows up at Kevin's house, and Kevin is he just finished having dinner with his mother and his son, and Tiffany shows up, and she just like kind of comes in the house and doesn't even like acknowledge his mother or his son, and she just goes to the room and starts questioning him about what she found in the room. And he's just like, I don't know whose those were and things like that, who's swanky. So his mother knocks on the door, and she's just like, okay, well, like, y'all just having a whole conversation while I'm just out here. Like, you're not going to introduce me to Tiffany. And Tiffany, you weren't even going to bother to like introduce yourself to me. So that was like really awkward. Excuse me. That was really awkward. Um, so they go out to the living room, and they are formally introduced, and they have a conversation. And Kevin's mother does not trust Tiffany at all. She doesn't like how Tiffany treated him when she came out and straight played him out by walking past him for the other dude. And we all remember what happened to that dude. I don't even remember his name, but Yeah, so his mother was just addressing her concerns about Tiffany, and she was telling her right to her face, like, "Hey, this is what it is." So that was pretty much what happened with them. Then we go to Brittany and Ray, and they're having dinner after Ray proposed to Brittany, and she was saying, "Oh, this is why you were acting so like sneaky and suspicious, and why you were dressed up and stuff like that." He said, "Yeah, I was just trying to get everything situated before proposing. I went to your parents and asked for their blessing, but I didn't get your father's blessing." So this instantly pisses her off, and you see her go to the parents' house the following day, and she rolls up to the house and just busts in the garage like, "Yo, like, pops, like, what's good?" And he was just looking at her like, "I know you're just not rolling up in here, just like questioning me like this." And he said that he didn't give his blessing because Ray needs to prove himself. And he's still feeling a lot of concerns because Brittany was like in a really abusive relationship before, and she said she had to escape for her life pretty much. And the father is still traumatized about this, so he just wants to like be like 1,000% sure that Ray is a good stand-up guy. And he said, himself, that Ray seems like a nice person, but he just like wants to like really, really make sure, because possibly the ex, could have came off that way as well and turned out to be a different type of person. And so they have that conversation, and you know, she gets Ray, not Ray, Brittany goes back to her house, and tells Ray that no, we still don't have his blessing, and they have that conversation that she had with her father, and that was it with them. Um, then you see Sarah and Sean getting ready for their wedding. And you have Delusional Destiny like talking about how she's headed to the wedding because he owes her $50,000, and her friend and her mother is like, trying to talk her out of it. Like, are you serious? She even gets to a point where she hangs up on her mother because her mother is trying to talk some sense into her, and she didn't want to hear it, so she hung up on her while she was on her way to the airport. Um, so you see Sarah getting her makeup done and stuff like that, and she's saying that she's pretty much at ease and she doesn't feel like anything will come about as far as like there's nothing that she feels like she should be worried about with the upcoming wedding. Little does she know what's about to come up the pike. So we see a touching moment with Sean and his son, and he apologized to him for not being like the best father, or feeling like he hasn't been the best father. So his son was like, "No, um, his son didn't agree with that, and he never saw his father so emotional." So that was a touching moment. That was pretty much it with them. That stuck out to me. I could be missing something, but that's what pretty much stuck out to me with that particular couple. Then we we have Taylor and Chance. Taylor, she headed to the bridal shop with her friend to try out dresses, and she was saying that she wishes Bobby was there, but Bobby's still in rehab. So she was telling her friend, you know, how she is concerned about Chance's spending habits because he bought the truck. And, that's a pretty big expense, a monthly expense. I believe it was like $500 a month. This is the monthly payment for the car. So that has her concerned, and she thinks he's being frivolous with his money. And so hopefully, we'll see what happens with that. But she was stating that the one of the particular dresses that she was trying on, she was liked the fact that it was like loose in the stomach area because she said she's gained some weight and she also is late. So she believes that she might be pregnant. And so her friend was like, okay, like you think that you are? Like, are you going to get a test done, like just to make sure? And Taylor is, she's pretty much kind of scared. Well, she's scared that she might be because all of her pregnancies has been high risk. And she mentioned the fact that she was pregnant for her well, for her fiance at the time, Jake, and they lost the baby. It was a boy. And soon after she lost the baby, or they lost the baby, then Jake passed away. So she's concerned about that, like about another high risk pregnancy or what might happen. So her friend was telling her, like just don't try not to be too concerned, like trying to think positive. Try to think positively, and everything is gonna work out. You just gotta put it out there, put those positive vibes out there, and then see how things will go. So, and that was pretty much it with them. Then we go to, I think the last couple, yeah, was Chaz and Branwen. So Chaz we see Chaz in his car and he calls Branwen and she was at a cafe doing her homework and he calls her and says that they need to have a conversation because the night prior was very intense, um, and he just wanted to talk things out. And she knows that things were intense, but she's focusing on her schoolwork, and that's where her focus is. So he's here pretty much interrupting her studies, and she's not feeling that. And so she agrees to meet up with him, and he comes in to the cafe, and he's like helping her put her stuff in her book bag and stuff like that. And she said, okay, we could go to the park down the street and have the conversation. So they're talking of, just talking out everything about how things went the night prior and, you know, what's going to happen in the future with the marriage. And, she was just basically saying that she's just trying to get her mind together about moving with him. Well, moving to his state with him because she'll be leaving her daughter, her family, her friends. She's in school, so it's a lot of things that she'll be leaving behind, and it's scary for her. And so um, they have that conversation. Then he invites her to the hotel that he's staying at because he's been visiting her in her town. And so uh, she agrees reluctantly to go back to the hotel with him. And he said, you could finish your studies there. And he was talking some French talk. I was just like, Lord of His mercy. So they get there, and she is trying to do her work, and he's there staring at her. This was just making me like, it was pissing me off. I was like, let the girl do her work. Like, you could like wait at the side until she's done. Like, you're gonna make the girl even more anxious. Like, you already see that she's anxious, and you're doing more things to just, you're not helping the situation out. So he's there just staring at her and like asking her these questions about school. And she's like, you can see that she's really, really trying in this particular episode. She was really, really trying to keep her cool. Like, okay, let me not have another freak out like we saw her do the night prior. She was thinking hard, she was trying to play along. Um, so he gets to show her like the bedroom and it's all set up. And he's just weird. I'm just gonna say it. He's just a bit interesting. He's an interesting character. Also, I forgot to mention that the room was booked under G Money. And she was like, G Money, like looking around, like, are you serious? Like, who's G Money? And he was just like, oh, that's what I booked the room under. Just an interesting character. Um, but she shows her to bed and she said that she'll give him a little dance, a little sexy dance and stuff like that. So she tells the camera crew to leave, and you could really tell on her face that she doesn't want to. It's so unfortunate, this whole situation with her and him. Um, but yeah, she kicked the camera crew out, and whatever happens after that, we'll soon find out. But they showed the previews for, I guess, the second half of the season, and a lot of things is gonna be happening. Like, so I'm real, I'm ready to see how everything's gonna go down with everybody. Like, stuff is gonna hit the fan. But anywho, thank you for checking out this review, and if you like it, hit a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye.